I'm Emily.
And I'm Nathan.
And welcome to
the Access the Magic podcast. We are a disabled Disney-loving couple who loves all things Disney and all things accessibility.
So join us as we share with you our favorite Disney Access tips and tricks so we can all
access the magic. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 1 of this new podcast. We are so happy that you tuned in today. Thank you so much.
In today's episode, we are going to go over some Disney news and updates and give you our thoughts and opinions on them, and then do a deep dive into who we are and why we started Access the Magic.
So let's start off with some Disney news. I feel like we need
an intro.
Yeah, Disney news. Exactly.
Diz news.
Diz news. Okay, well, let's get into it. What's new, Emily?
Well, as of the day that we are recording this, March 2nd, 2026, Rock and Roller Coaster is no more.
It's no longer. We're seeing so many photos today on socials of them. They've removed the branding already. My Disney Experience does no longer show that guitar. So
how long do you think until they actually take the guitar down?
Well, do you think they will take the guitar down?
Or just repaint it for the Muppets?
Yeah. I think maybe. There is a guitar in the concept art.
Yeah. You're right. I think there might be.
It's just like very colorful looking.
I'm curious as to how long they anticipate the retheme taking.
Yeah, I think they said just a few months, so maybe it'll be open by the end of the year.
We'll see. We'll find out.
We'll see.
It is bittersweet. I mean, Rock and Roller Coaster has been there for so long. It is a staple for us every trip we ride it. But also, I'm happy with it moving on to a new theme. I don't feel too sad about losing out on Aerosmith. I don't have any real personal ties to Aerosmith. And I do think it's going to be fun to see what it's like as the Muppets. I do still think it's maybe an odd choice. I wasn't expecting them to go with a Muppets rebrand. I think they just... Part of me wonders if that was something that they planned on doing from the start, or if they scrambled when there was such a negative reaction to getting rid of Muppet Vision, but it'll be interesting to see. I'll ride it.
Well, side news about Muppet Vision, which is not on our list of news, is that Muppet Vision 3D is coming back in a new and exciting way in VR or something.
Yeah, I don't know enough about this to talk about it.
I think you can use your Apple Vision Pro and your Meta glasses to watch Muppet Vision 3D.
I'm not convinced that that's for me.
Well, and I also don't have that. I don't do that. So
no.
Another interesting piece of news, which just keeps getting more interesting. Gertie's tail has fallen off at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
It has gone. Plunged into the lagoon.
Well, Gertie has been making news for a couple of weeks now that she had a crack. And they fixed that overnight. And then I think her tail did fall off before. And then they reattached it. And now it fell off again. And they've put some crates in front of it to try and hide her missing tail.
Don't look here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But poor Gertie.
Poor Gertie. I mean, yeah, so if you don't know, Gertie is the name of the dinosaur that is in the lagoon at Hollywood Studios. Kind of across from the Indiana Jones show. Is where you'll see her, and she's been a staple there for a long time, and I guess she needs a little bit of love because she's struggling, and I hope they don't get rid of her because she is a necessity of that area. Never really understood what her reference or she does feel a little bit random there.
Well,
but I love her. We love Gertie, and at Christmas they put a Santa hat on her.
Yeah.
So, we need that.
Yeah. Someone tell us why there's a dinosaur in the middle of the Hollywood Studios lagoon.
Well, I mean, it would have made more sense at Animal Kingdom up until recently, but, they have a whole slew of dinosaurs to choose from there, but then randomly there's one at Hollywood Studios. There must be some lore there that we don't know.
Yeah.
So, sorry, we're clearly uneducated, but maybe we'll do some research and report back in our next episode. In other fun news... We have started to see some topiaries go up for Flower and Garden Festival. This is very exciting. It is our favorite festival of the year.
Absolutely.
We will be there
in
a few weeks.
Yes.
4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Whatever 42 days is. I think that's 6 weeks exactly.
Oh, it's longer than I wanted it to be,
I
but
know.
that's okay. We will be there. I'm so excited to see the Topiaries. This year, there are new Topiaries. Well, they're new old Topiaries. They're Topiaries
old.
that existed, but now they are coming back. They haven't been out for a few years. So we have Mike and Sully from Monsters, Inc. and Lightning McQueen and Mater
Yeah.
from Cars, I think are the new ones. Is there anyone else?
I think there's one more
Oh, no.
something new, but I've forgotten.
But
Someone else.
I'm excited to see those because we haven't seen those ones yet. I was pushing real hard for what I kept calling a Zootopiary. A
Zootopia.
Topiary. A Zootopiary would have been great.
Do they not
But it's
have
okay.
Judy and Nick as topiaries? I guess not.
Not that I've seen, unless they just haven't
Darn.
brought them out recently. But I don't know why they would not bring them out if they had them.
Absolutely.
So, but we do love Flower and Garden. It's our favorite festival, as I said. We have been to every festival at Epcot. I think at some point maybe we'll do an episode on Epcot festivals.
Great idea.
But I also was wondering if folks would be interested in us doing an episode sooner rather than later specific to Flower and Garden, talking about the menu, talking about the topiaries, the different entertainment options, all the kinds of things that we look out for at Flower and Garden because we love that festival. It's our favorite. There's some food items that they're bringing back that I'm real excited about.
Yeah.
And some that they're bringing back that I don't understand why they're bringing them back. But we could get into that in a whole other episode.
Yeah, we really like to plan our festival.
Our festival, flowers.
That's why. Our Flower and Garden Festival, not just Flower and Garden. We like to plan our festival experience. So we like to know
Yeah.
all the food. We like to know all the activities. We like to know all the ride overlays. So we're going to have to do that for Flower
Well-
and Garden this year. So we might as well do it together.
Yeah, and I like to make a long checklist to make sure that we get all the things that we want.
Absolutely.
You know, we got it. I neurodiverse the heck out of it. And I love a plan. We also do go with the flow. So it's not as
Yeah.
if it's a list that we're like, okay, we have to do this on this day. But it's like, while we're here during the festival, we want to try at least all of these foods. We want to make sure we see all the topiaries, et cetera, et cetera.
What's the scavenger hunt for Flower and Garden? I
Ooh, I
forget.
don't know.
Didn't we do it last
There's
year?
one. I don't know if we did it last year because the prize were those silly watering cans, I think. Do you remember? And we were like,
Yes.
this is useless. And then literally
Yes.
a couple weeks after, they were selling them at Character Warehouse for $1.
Oh, yeah.
So-
99 cents for sure.
Yeah. So often we like to do the scavenger hunts, but only if we think that the prize is kind of worth our money.
I got to look up if it's been announced yet, the prizes.
Yeah. We haven't done the Flower and Garden scavenger hunt before. We've done the Remy's one twice, which is part of Food and Wine.
Right.
That one's usually a good time. But
And the cookie stroll at Festival of the Holidays.
yes, that's true. Where
That's
we got
not,
a spatula.
oh, wait, that's not a scavenger hunt.
It's not a scavenger hunt.
But I
You
was-
just eat a lot of
But I
cookies.
was really excited about the cookies and
Yeah.
the spatula.
Yeah.
So
And I think the Flower and Garden one, I feel like usually is a bee. Like there's a bee that you
Yeah.
find. But I don't know. We got to look up what the prize is. Because also one year we almost did, I think it was a Festival of the Arts scavenger hunt, but the prize was like a coloring page or something. I don't know. There was one year that the prize was really nothing interesting.
agreed.
One year also there was a prize for something that was like a pumpkin carving set, and I don't know. I do wish that the prizes were a little bit more interesting. I mean, for the Remy's one, it's like we have a bowl, it's a plastic bowl, and we have 2 plastic bento boxes, but I still use them like for my snacks.
I think bento box is a stretch.
It's not
that's-
really a bento box. It's kind of just a container. There are no
They
compartments.
called it a bento box, but it's really just a container.
But it's got Mickey Mouse.
It's really cute. Yeah, I do love it.
So that's how they get you. And they put Mickey Mouse on anything, and Disney adults are going to go for it.
Oh, we're going to buy it for sure. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, next up in Disney news, the Disney BAGGU collection.
Yeah, speaking of Disney adults buying anything with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, and this one's dangerous because it ain't cheap, my friends.
Well, it seems like the BAGGU bags, especially the Crescent bags, have been like the park bags that all the Disney girlies are talking about, and the Disney they thems and the Disney boys. Like everyone is loving a BAGGU. I totally get it because I also would like to wear a crossbody bag in the parks.
Yeah.
That is partly because I'm in a wheelchair, so like I can't wear a backpack. But I have never bought a BAGGU bag, and I don't know that I understand why they are so much more expensive than any other crossbody. But I might understand it now that it has Mickey Mouse on it.
Well, because you're going to acquire one. And so you might find out.
I don't know that I'm going to buy one. They're a little
Oh.
steep.
I think I will.
If they sell them at Disney Springs somewhere and I can use my annual pass discount.
Oh, no.
Maybe.
No.
You don't think that's going to happen?
Oh, well, it's possible.
I've been wondering if they would do like a pop-up
Oh.
and marketplace co-op.
Oh, that's fun. Or they might sell them at like World of Disney, but I don't know.
Doubtful, I think.
I think they come out this Wednesday.
It's going to sell out, probably.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of things I like in that collection. I really like the picnic blanket.
Okay.
We don't need a
That's
picnic
not a
blanket,
bag.
but and they have a couple of like little cosmetic cases and pouches and stuff, and I'm always looking for different little pouches to put things in my backpack just to keep myself
love a
organized.
pouch.
I like separating out things so I can just grab one pouch out and get what I need rather than having to dig through my bag. But I still just don't know if I can justify the expense. Oh, and they have these 2 cute packing cubes, but again, they're kind of expensive. And they're not compression packing cubes, which is my personal preference. So
I will report back on the BAGGU because I imagine that I will have one.
you think you're going to get one?
Well,
One of the crescents?
yes.
Okay.
I don't have a crescent. Well, here's the thing. A crossbody bag can only hold so many things, right?
Nathan's park bag that he has right now, well, I guess you technically have 2. You wear a crossbody bag, and it's one of the Lululemon
Yes.
Mickey Mouse bags.
Which is good.
And then you wear a backpack to carry more of our stuff in. But
if I
that
could
bag is kind of small.
Yeah, if I could have easier access to more items, that would be so cool. Because
Well,
right
maybe it
now,
would
all
benefit
that's in
me
there
too.
is my sunscreen times 2, my wallet, my keys, and that's it. That's all that fits. And it's like
Yeah.
pretty squishy. So if I had
Yeah.
a crescent bag, who knows what could fit in there? So many mystery pin boxes.
That's the scary part, is that it will just lead you to buying more things.
No.
That's the benefit.
Sure.
All right. Well, what else is happening in Disney news? Oh, the castle has almost finished being painted. I don't think it's quite 100% finished.
Yes, as of this morning, I saw very, very big cranes in view. Can you imagine it's your one Disney trip in like 10 years, for example, and you get there in the castle, you
can't see it?
Can't, I think you can see it,
Like,
but
you can't get that classic
yeah,
picture.
you can't get that shot. You'll just have to go to Google and, take one of the hundreds of thousands of photos that look pretty good.
I have to say, I was quite against the castle painting at first because when I first saw how they were painting it, it looked like they were just painting all of it gray. And I was horrified because it kind of just blended into the sky. And I was like, why are we doing this? The pink stood out really well from the sky. It's also interesting because it's a pink castle at Disneyland Paris.
Yes.
I don't think it's a pink castle at Disneyland. I think it's gray there.
Yeah, I think so.
But their castle's also so much smaller that it just kind of, you don't see it anyways. It really blends in. But at Disney World, I really liked that the pink stood out. That being said, since I've seen photos of it, it actually is more of a white, kind of. Like it's white with gold accents, and I actually think it looks really pretty. I still think I'm going to miss my pink castle because I really enjoyed it. But I'm glad that that they haven't just painted the whole thing gray.
Yeah, I agree. I look forward to seeing it in person because I was also quite against the repainting. Although I understand that it's nostalgic and that it was gray before the pink. But the pink was lovely.
I'll also say for people watching this on YouTube, we'll be putting photos up alongside the things that we're talking about. So we'll have had a photo of the castle up. But if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, you can check out the YouTube video if you want to see some of those photos.
Last piece of news we need to talk about is Villain's Land.
Oh,
because
my
there has
goodness.
been a lot of uncertainty about Villain's Land in the last couple of weeks. But then Disney came to the rescue and told us some good information with some key details, including an Emperor's New Groove coaster.
They're giving the people what they want.
Literally. Like, we've been watching
Or yours.
Emperor's New Groove for plus years.
It was the 20th anniversary last year, I think.
That's what I thought. Amazing. Okay, and so there's a roller coaster in the movie. Why is there not a roller coaster in real life? But now there will be. Do you think it's going to be just like that going down into Yzma's abode?
I hope so. I think they've said that it's going to be a family-friendly coaster,
Yeah.
so I imagine it's going to be quite tame, a gentler roller coaster, which I'm in favor of. I totally get it, because I think they also are planning some sort of more thrill-type ride that's Maleficent-themed or something. But so I think it makes sense that they're balancing that out with a more family-friendly version too. But yeah, it's something that people have been asking for years, because why would you put a ride in a movie that you're not going to put in the parks? So I think that's one that we are super excited about.
Very excited. Yeah.
It's going to be great. I can't wait.
And that concludes the Disney news. Disney.
All right, let's move on to our main topic. So we are going to talk a little bit about how we started Access the Magic, how we fell in love with Disney, what folks can expect from this podcast. So to start, we thought we would talk about our first childhood Disney memories. So Nathan, can you think of something, or do you need a second?
Well, I can easily think of my first Disney parks memory, because I only went once as a child, so there was only one time to think of. Funnily enough, I guess I'm just going to talk about it. It was to Disneyland, because I grew up in Vancouver on the West Coast, and so Disneyland was much closer for me and my family than Disney World. So I never got to experience Epcot and Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom and all that Disney World has to offer until literally 3.5 years ago, which is...
You're welcome.
Thank you. It has changed my life for the better. Anyway, we'll get into that. So Disneyland, I went there. I don't know how old I was.
Maybe performed there.
Well, I was getting to that. I performed there.
But
yes.
I have to tell you, once I found out that I was married to someone who performed at Disney, I really freaked out. It was probably the proudest moment of my entire life.
Well, there you go. So yes, my dance studio, because I grew up as a competitive dancer, did somehow land a deal. I don't know. We performed at Disney, and we did some workshops with some of the live entertainment cast members as well, and some backstage rehearsal studios, dance studios.
Oh my God, did you meet Mickey Mouse?
Well, I don't believe I did, which is too bad. But I have met Mickey Mouse, since
then.
So I did perform in Disneyland. I forget what that theater's called. Is it just called like Fantasyland Theater? It's like opposite.
It's something like that. It's like an open air amphitheater.
Yeah. So I did perform there. I think we did a couple of shows. So that's pretty cool. And then obviously I got to do all of the parks. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I did a lot of things. The thing that sticks out to me was Toontown that I really remember, which is unique to Disneyland. And I just I remember visiting Mickey and Minnie's houses, which are just so adorable.
Can I say one of my favorite things about Toontown at Disneyland is that Mickey and Minnie say goodnight to each other every night when the park's closing. Oh. They I think Mickey goes over to Minnie's house and kisses her hand or kisses her on the cheek or something really cute. Yeah, that's really adorable.
Okay, so that's my first Disney parks memory. I mean, I grew up watching all the Disney films. The Lion King is my girl, and it still is one of my faves.
Your girl.
My girl is a classic, 90s Disney film, and so that's what I grew up on. It's 90s Disney films.
Well, we're kids of the 90s, so
yes.
That was... I think, is that considered the golden age of Disney films?
I think, yeah.
The platinum age? I don't know. But there were so many great Disney films coming out in the 80s and 90s that we got to grow up experiencing. So kind of right before, there was sort of I feel like a pause in there before then the 2010s when it was Frozen, Moana, and those ones coming out. But it was Little Mermaid, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, all those
Hercules,
classics.
Tarzan.
That really were targeted towards us and our generation.
And they still hold such a special place. Pocahontas!
You'll be in my heart.
You'll be
oh my God, Pocahontas.
I'm living with this microphone.
I know.
It's so funny. I'm so awkward, but also I can sing.
comes very naturally to me.
Emily, what's your first childhood Disney memories? I gave like 20, so.
Well, I'm going to talk about something really specific because I think people will appreciate it. So when I was a little girl, my parents took us to Disney World.
Oh, well, this could go one of two ways. But I'm excited.
It's not, I haven't told this story before on this channel.
Oh, okay.
So it's different.
Nice.
It's new.
Okay.
And obviously, if you're new to the podcast, you wouldn't have heard it before unless you've seen, unless I've talked to you about it in real life.
Ooh.
So this is a new story for everybody except Nathan, which hopefully you remember this story. When I was a little girl, my parents took me to Disney World. We went to Disney World 3 or 4 times, I think, between me being a baby to me being like 17. I think we went maybe 4 times.
Nice.
Which is pretty, actually, like that's a lot
really lucky.
for a lot of folks. And then I went by myself in my early 20s, and then you and I obviously started going a few years ago. So I was really obsessed with Ariel when I was a child.
Shocking.
Yes, because I had red hair and because I guess I was just so self-obsessed.
Right.
No, I was really obsessed with Ariel. I could talk about that for a long time. She still is like my original favorite. I have new favorites now too, who I love. But Ariel was my favorite, and she meant so much to me, and I was so excited to meet her for the first time. And I had my autograph book, and I was like going and meeting all the different princes and princesses. And back in that time, this would have been in the early 2000s. I remember, and I could be totally wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong. I remember the characters roaming. Like, I don't think that you just had to go to meet and greet locations to meet them.
Well, that's what I remember. That's what I thought, because that's what's in Disneyland.
In Disneyland, yeah. So it's possible I've somehow muddled that together, but I remember them roaming, and I remember like getting to meet characters. There were also scheduled meet and greets and like specific locations. So Ariel, I think, has always had Ariel's Grotto where you can go and meet Ariel. But anyways, I remember like getting Chip and Dale's autographs like while walking around, that kind of thing. I went to go meet Ariel, and I was so excited and also so nervous because she was my hero. And I got to meet her, and she signed my book, and we took a photo, and my parents talked about how she was my favorite, and I was like so emotional to meet her, and she gave me a big hug, and she was so sweet. And now I don't know how often this happens because I imagine it's not very often. But later that afternoon, we were watching the parade, and the Ariel who was in the parade was the same Ariel that I had met. And again, I don't know if that is, I don't think that's like often what happens. Maybe I could be totally wrong. But she pointed at me and waved and like said hi, like clearly having remembered me from that moment when I met her before. And I sobbed. It was like, that was such a magical moment for me that Ariel, my hero, remembered me, recognized me, pointed me out, was so excited to see me because she had said to me like, oh, are you coming to the parade? I'll look for you in the parade. And then she saw me. So that was a really beautiful moment.
That's so cute.
It's just Disney magic, isn't it?
Disney magic. Recently, I think maybe a year or so ago when we were watching Festival of Fantasy, there was another fun time when Ariel spotted you and she pointed at you and waved and then pointed at her hair and pointed at your hair.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that made you...
That I cried.
Reminisce
again.
on that childhood memory too.
Exactly.
Yes, and yes, you did cry for sure.
Well, I think that was very much like redheads, like cute. But I also just, again, it made me think of that moment when I was a little kid. And it was funny because that was the first time we watched Festival of Fantasy together.
Oh.
It's the first time you and I sat and watched the Disney parade together. And I was telling you that story from my childhood while we were waiting for the parade to start. And so then when that happened, it was just...
magical. That's Disney magic.
It was so great.
I love that.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. Let's talk about our first trip as a couple. Do you want to tell us how we ended up there?
Well, it started with a dream.
Just like
and
Walt.
ended with us spending thousands of dollars to hang out with a mouse. I've talked about this before, but basically I had a dream one night randomly that we were at Disney World, and I woke up the next morning and said to Nathan, wouldn't it be fun if we went to Disney World? And he said, yeah, that sounds like a great time. Totally random. I have no idea what spurred it. I mean, I feel like I must have seen something online or whatever that like made my brain start thinking about it subconsciously. But I was really excited and we sort of booked a trip, but very much thinking like,
one and done.
we're going to go, this will be it. Like we're going to have this fun time and we're just sort of going randomly for fun. And then, we'll probably not go back until we have kids kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know? So maybe we're like in 10 years, maybe we'll be back. Well, we fell in love with it so fast.
So fast. So
And-
hard. So deep.
We really weren't expecting it to impact us in the way that it ended up impacting us. But essentially, and this kind of falls into the next question that we're going to go over, which is why did we fall in love with Disney? But we basically just have never experienced a trip where we just didn't have to worry about anything. Everything was taken care of for us. We just felt so relaxed. And it's funny because I actually think like Disney is quite a high stress environment.
It's
like it can be.
High sensory stimulation. So
Yeah.
many people, so many sounds.
There's so much
noises,
happening.
Smells.
But somehow it's where I feel the most relaxed.
Yeah.
So anyways, we just fell in love with it. We fell in love with the accessibility. For me as a wheelchair user and an autistic adult, like I've never had things just be accessible for me and had all my accommodations met without me having to over explain and over advocate and like spend so much energy and time and resources making sure that all these things were planned out ahead of time. And so that just felt truly magical. I'd never experienced anything like that my whole life traveling. And so it was the first time that I got to travel and have a vacation and just relax the whole time. Like I didn't have to worry. And so, yeah, so our first trip we went on, that was in September of 2023.
Yes. Oh, darn. Before I said 3.5 years, it's only been 2.5 years.
Isn't that wild? It feels like
Yeah.
we've been going for a decade. Like, because
And I
we have
wouldn't-
gone
yeah.
so much in the
Yeah.
last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like we've gone.
So it took us, after that first trip, it took us a while to get back there. We didn't go back until May.
But in between,
Although we did go to Disneyland
Yeah.
in between in March. And
well,
then, yeah.
after we went to Disney World, we had such a great time that we kept saying, oh, wouldn't it be fun to experience some of the other parks around
Mm-hmm.
the world? And we were going to be going to Vancouver to visit your family.
Yeah.
And thought, well, Vancouver is not that far from LA. So maybe we should go to LA and go to Disneyland on our way. And so we did. And we did that. Was that February of 2024, I guess?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And then we, again, loved it. I will say accessibility-wise, it's a little bit different. Maybe we'll do a whole deep dive podcast episode about that at some point. But we had a great time. Still loved it.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, this is us now. We are Disney adults. This is our new identity.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we own is now mouse-shaped.
Yes. Everything we eat. Everything we dream.
And there was no looking back.
No, yes. And since then, we have gone so many times. We became annual pass holders in May of 2024, which is funny because we bought the tickets not planning to get an annual pass, and then we upgraded because we were
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we're going to go again later. And honestly, especially for out-of-town folks, you're not, usually just going for a day or two. You're going for a week. And then if you go twice in a year, your annual pass already pays for itself.
Yeah.
So do the math, my friends.
Disney math.
Disney math is real. It's
And you
dangerous.
get 20% off merchandise.
So it's pretty much free, as Emily says.
correct.
It's all free. So, well, it's also really interesting to think back on our first Disney trips where we were like, didn't buy anything. We were
It's
like,
so
why would
wild to
we,
think about.
Why would we buy merch from Disney? Why would we buy pins from Disney? Why would we do that? And
It is quite funny.
that's hilarious because we have
a huge collection now.
yes, I was wondering how to phrase that kindly to ourselves. A huge collection.
A problem?
A huge collection. Yes.
So our first trip, I think the only thing we bought was an ornament because we collect ornaments on different trips that we go on. So we were
Right.
like, okay, we'll get one ornament to represent our trip. And genuinely, I think that's all we bought. I don't think we bought any shirts, any sweaters,
No.
any ears, any pins.
Oh, ears. Yeah, that was a thing too. I was like,
Well, it's
why
funny
would I bite
because
ears?
we were like, we're not going to bite ears. Like, you can only wear them in the parks. What's the point? And I'm sitting here next to like a pile of ears. Now there are like 40 in this bag next to me.
The bag is now,
it's
doesn't
overflowing.
fit all of our ears.
So that changed quite quickly. But even on our second trip when we went to Disneyland,
we also
I
didn't
was like,
really...
I'm going to buy one pair of ears that I will wear
everywhere
for the
all
rest of time.
But
That
how
didn't
embarrassing that one would think that you could have one pair of ears to wear every day. The same pair of ears?
Yeah.
You're not coordinating with it.
Coordinating with your outfit.
Coordinating with your outfit, coordinating with the park, coordinating with the festival, coordinating
Sometimes I wear
with
two
the
different
season.
pairs of ears in one day because
Absolutely.
I'm switching
If you're park
parts.
hopping, you must, you must be prepared.
You have to accommodate.
So... How naive we were.
It is funny. And that, I think, was also the trip where we first bought a couple pins. We first bought, like, a sweater each.
I think TikTok made us do the pins.
For sure. TikTok was the catalyst.
Because we were like, ooh, look how fun to have a mystery box. And now...
Now we have spent many thousands of dollars on Disney pins.
Okay, but it's a whole community.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby?
A lot of people spend
It's a
money on their hobby.
community?
I mean, sports
Exactly.
are so expensive.
Oh,
Like, we save
sports.
so much money by not being athletic.
We're athletic. We do so many... Well, okay, I do many steps in the park.
I do a lot of rolling.
Does many wheels.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I exercise my my
Thrill levels.
Yeah. I get up and down from rides.
There you go.
I climb real high on Tower of Terror.
You do.
I'm seated while I do
199
it,
feet.
but it's significant.
That's a lot of feet.
So, anyways, point being, that was sort of our first trip. We really weren't like, and also interestingly, our first trip, we initially didn't plan to spend as much time at Disney as we ended up spending.
Oh, that's true.
We weren't even going to go to Animal Kingdom, which now feels horrifying.
Like a crime. Yes. Anyone who thinks that Animal Kingdom is a half-day park, I would love to chat with you.
I think here's what I'll say about it. If you think Animal Kingdom is a half-day park, then I would argue that Hollywood Studios is also a half-day park.
And I would argue that neither of them are half-day parks.
I don't want to spend half a day at either of them. I'm happy to spend a whole day at both of them.
Well,
I just am saying that, like, I think there's as much to do at Animal Kingdom as there is at Hollywood Studios.
Well, maybe not at the moment. But...
Yeah, but Hollywood Studios now, Muppets Courtyard is closed and Rock and Roller Coaster is gone, so...
And Animation Courtyard, can't forget.
So I'm just saying, like, right now they're they're in a similar
Well,
boat.
I think Hollywood does have more rides, but Animal Kingdom has,
all the
so
tours
much to see.
and so much to see. Yeah.
Absolutely. All the animals.
Anyways,
all
but
those
we weren't going
trails.
to go to Animal Kingdom. We had this whole thing. I think we had bought like a 4-day park hopper.
Yeah, I think so.
And the plan was to do Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and then a day where we could sort of hop between those three. And we were going to do a few Universal days.
Oh,
and
right.
Not to get into this, but we ended up having the worst time of our lives at Universal in terms of accessibility. It was just not accessible at all. To be fair to them, we went to guest services. We were quite nice, but we were like, your
have to
park is not
leave.
accessible, so we can't leave. We have a park ticket
we must
for...
leave.
We can't. Yes, we have to leave.
We must.
We can't get on any of the rides.
Yeah.
We still have a park ticket for tomorrow. Is there any way we could get a refund for tomorrow because we're not going to be able to use this? And they ended up actually giving us a full refund for the next day, but also the day that we had spent there because they felt bad.
It was only like half a day too, but it was quite a negative experience.
But I just want to say that their customer service
that's
team was
true.
actually
That's
really
true.
kind about it
You're
and really accommodating, and that was nice. And I do think that since then they have improved on some of those things.
Right.
But I'm happy again to talk about that. There's a lot at Universal that I think... My biggest bone, I think, to pick with Universal is that they just don't really accommodate for body diversity.
That is absolutely true.
So, anyways, point being, we then actually went to Disney customer service or guest services, and we were like, hey,
we have an extra day.
We bought 4 days of park tickets, but now we're not going to Universal anymore, so can we upgrade? And they were like, yeah, of course. And so we were able to add another day, and then we did go to Animal Kingdom, and I'm so glad we did because we fell in love with it.
I love Animal Kingdom.
It is such a good park.
Yeah.
I think is the park where I maybe feel the most like a child.
Oh, interesting.
I say that, like, Epcot to me is very nostalgic. I don't know. Oh, actually, that's really hard to say.
Yeah.
But there's
That's
something about Animal Kingdom and being on the safaris that I feel like a little kid again.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
Cool.
I love it.
It goes into the next question. Well, what's our favorite parks? And here's the thing. I think that this is like choosing your favorite child, which you're not supposed to do.
But everyone knows that there's always a favorite child. So there is always a favorite park.
Okay, well, there usually is a favorite child, yeah. But I'm struggling, and I think it changes. But, I mean, okay, Emily, what is your favorite park?
Epcot.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought you were just going to say yes and then move on.
No.
As if you were acknowledging that was like the correct answer.
I mean, I do agree that Epcot, I think, holds a special place in my heart. But each of the parks have a special place in my heart for different reasons. And so, like,
absolutely.
For me, for you, you were saying you feel most like a child at Animal Kingdom. I feel most like a child at Magic Kingdom because that is, like, quintessential
sense.
Disney. It reminds me of being in Disneyland as a kid. You have Fantasyland, which is so, like, child-friendly. So that makes me feel nostalgic.
I should rephrase. I think the first time we went to Animal Kingdom, on that first trip in September of 2023, I think that was when I felt most like a kid on that specific trip.
Oh, okay.
Because it felt, I had only gone to Animal Kingdom once before when I was really little, and I don't remember, I didn't have any memories of it really. I had a couple of like small recollections of It's Tough to Be a Bug and like some random things, but I didn't remember a lot about it. And it was, I think because of that, it really struck me in a different way than the other three parks had because I had been there more recently. So I think that's why it made me feel like a kid on that trip. I think in general, different areas and different parks make me feel like a kid. So
that's fair.
Like, there are parts of Epcot where I like first go in and see Spaceship Earth and like that welcome music as you come in, and I'm just like, I'm home.
Music.
Hollywood Studios, like it's just such a vibe. It's such a vibey park.
It is.
I do think though, walking down like Main Street towards the castle and then into Fantasyland is definitely the most where I'm like, I am now 5 years old again.
Yeah, and that's quintessential Disney.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And
sorry, did you say Epcot is also your favorite park?
Yeah, I think like it's my overarching favorite.
Yeah.
But
we love them all.
I don't dislike any of them. I love them all so much. And I think back to the last question about falling in love with Disney, I think this idea of Magic Kingdom being a child, Disney for me allows me to bring out my inner child and just like, you know how children just like don't have to know about all the difficult things in life and they just like get to exist and be themselves and don't feel judgment and are curious and all these like amazing qualities that we attribute to children. That's what I feel when I'm at Disney.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And specifically that idea of bringing out your inner child and not caring about anyone else. Because sure, there are 50,000 people in Magic Kingdom on a busy day, but I'm never going to see any of them again. So if I look and act like a 30-year-old child, because that's what I am, that's okay.
Yeah.
I love being a child at Disney.
I wonder if it would be interesting, if folks would be interested in us doing a podcast episode sort of ranking all of the Disney parks we've been to. So we've been to 8 of them.
Oh, yes.
Like Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, but then also
Disneyland
and then California Adventure, Disneyland Paris, and what's now called Disney Adventure World, I think, but was called
Walt Disney Studios when we went, yeah.
We could do maybe a little
I don't know about
rundown.
ranking. Ranking is mean, but I can do like a...
I think I could rank them.
I could probably rank them. Let's do it.
I wonder, we should do separate rankings and then compare them and see if they line up. That would be fun.
Absolutely. That's a bit stressful.
I know what my top is and I know what my tail is. Like immediately.
Oh, okay. Me too. Is it Epcot and Walt Disney Studios / Disney Adventure World?
Correct. 100%. That's what it is.
Of course, that's
so
what it is.
Funny.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
It's the middle that I'm like, kind of like,
There are, I think in the middle you could totally rotate them depending on the day and the time of year and all sorts of things.
If I could go back to Paris, and we only went a few months ago, but I want to see Olaf moving about.
I do want to see the Frozen
I know.
world.
The whole,
really great.
Arendelle. I want to see that so much.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I think that park. I mean,
But
there's
it's funny because I had just recently finished editing all of our Disney Paris vlogs, which
check it out.
if you're watching on our YouTube, you can check them out. I'll link them down below. I'll also link them in the show notes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. But we vlog all of our Disney trips, and I just finished editing our Disney Paris vlogs, and I was reminded of how inaccessible those parks were. So
Yeah.
I kind of forgot. I feel like I kind of glossed over it in my brain because overall it was still a really beautiful trip, but the access was not great. And I even cut some bits out of the vlogs where I really got into it because I didn't want it to seem like we were, just like being really miserable the whole time, because
still
we
had
weren't.
a lovely time.
Yeah.
But there were some challenges for sure. And I think like if folks grew up only going to Disneyland Paris, I'm sure for them the accessibility might be great because that's what they're used to. But
Yeah.
we're used to American standards of accessibility, which are higher. And
Yeah, because they
Disney-
have more strict legislation to
Exactly.
follow.
And Disney World specifically, because it's a newer park, there is differences even between Disney World and Disneyland just because of
big differences.
the
Time period in which the parks were built.
Exactly.
Sorry, I keep like cutting you off to finish your sentences.
That's good because I'm not
We're
thinking
married,
clearly.
so we do this all the time.
I feel like, okay, this is not a question on this list. Maybe we should finish this, but I feel like we should just like do like 10 quick facts about us as human beings.
I just have to come up with 10 on the spot.
Well, okay, what are like a few random facts about you? Give me a 30-second Emily elevator pitch.
Hello, my name is Emily. I'm 30 years old. I live in Toronto. I work in the arts. I am an accessibility consultant for arts and culture organizations throughout Toronto and beyond, which is why I'm really trying to vie for Disney to hire me to be an accessibility consultant, because I think I would bring a great lens of accessibility knowledge and lived experience and artistic vision. I strongly believe that accessibility should be artistic, and that when you're adding accessibility to artistic events and things like rides and shows and whatever at Disney World, that the accessibility should be woven into it rather than sort of tacked on after they've come up with whatever that experience is. I love to read. I read a lot. Well, I consider it a lot. I don't know. Maybe other people don't think it's that much, but I try to read about 40 books a year, and to me that's a pretty good amount considering that I do a lot of other things. I like to do small crafts. I cross stitch. I have 2 cats. Well, we have 2 cats that we're obsessed with. Their names are Mary and Pippin. I spend pretty much all my time thinking about them or thinking about Disney, but it's one or the other. When I'm at Disney, I'm thinking about them, and when I'm with them, I'm thinking about Disney. And my dream of dreams would be to get to like stay in Cinderella's castle with my cats. Wow. It will never happen for multiple reasons, and like we don't travel with our cats because I don't think they would enjoy it, but that would be my dream of dreams. I'm disabled. I am an ambulatory wheelchair user due to a neurological condition that I have, and I am also autistic and I have ADHD. So I like to say it's a sort of fun trifecta that I get to work with. I do think it makes me really good at my job, and I think it makes me really good at observing how to make things artistically accessible. What else? What would you say about me? You're my husband. Like, I mean, we've been married for almost 4 years. We've been together for 8 years. We got married.
Oh,
I was going to say the year before we went to Disney the first time. So we went for our 1-year anniversary.
And we met,
it's related to Disney.
It's related. Well, before you were an accessibility consultant / disability arts human, you were a stage manager for theater. What is a stage manager?
We work sort of behind the scenes to keep the show running. So if you go to see a musical or a play or anything like that, are you shaking your head at me? Are you disagreeing?
No, I'm agreeing.
Okay.
You know.
I was like, what? Did I get this wrong? No. We're basically the ones who run the whole show. So we're telling everyone what to do, when to go. We're calling the show in terms of making sure the lights, set changes, if there are set pieces that are flying in and out, that kind of thing. We're just kind of overseeing it. We're steering the ship.
So much love.
Nathan was working on that show as a performer.
So we met doing Cinderella, a pantomime version. However,
but it's still
Disney,
sort of Disney
so that's
themed.
super fun.
Yeah.
To think about that we met doing a Disney show.
So what about some fun facts about you? What would people want to know about Nathan?
I'm Nathan. I use he, they pronouns. and I'm 29 years old. I'll
baby.
be 30 this summer.
We are 11 months apart.
Yes, 11 months apart. Emily is my elder. And I respect her.
My elder? Oh my God, I'm not that much older than you. My goodness.
No,
I like to tease him about it sometimes. Nathan,
Yes, you
for
do.
some reason, like, gets insecure about being younger than me, and so I like to remind him that he needs to respect me.
So what else about me? I already told you that I grew up in Vancouver, and I moved here in 2014 to Toronto for school. I went to musical theater school. That's why I am like this, the way I am, loud and weird.
If you're watching us on YouTube, you might notice that I'm making faces. It's because our cats just woke up from their nap.
Oh my gosh.
I'm saying hi to them.
Yes, I love our cat so much. Hi, Mary. Okay. What else do you need to know about me? I do the same job as Emily. We work together. However, I do a lot of the more like, maybe people think boring, but I think it's great. Like logistical, businessy stuff. So like budgets and contracts, and Emily does more of the creative
visionary
thinking stuff.
Yeah.
So, but we work super well together. So that's super fun. I am married to Emily, and we have 2 cats, and I love to cook, and I love to bake, and I love to Disney. And
I also love to bake. That's a good one.
I don't know what else. I love to read too. I also read, not as much as Emily, but
a pretty decent amount.
I read some books.
I've just discovered, Nathan, that you have green fluff like all over this shirt, and I'm trying to figure out what it's from. You must have worn this under a sweater or something recently.
Well, isn't that fantastic? 46 minutes into recording that we discover I'm full of green. What else? Yeah, I grew up being a singer, dancer, actor, and then disability came about. For me, I have an acquired disability, meaning that I was not disabled when I was born. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2019, January of 2019. And so when COVID hit, everything changed, and I no longer perform, but I do all this really fun behind the scenes stuff now in disability and accessibility and arts. And it's like the perfect combination of all of my interests. And now there's a mouse who dictates my life. Am I missing anything, Emily? What would you say?
No, I just think you're a great human.
I love plants. Sorry, I just, because there's 2
Pothos?
2 pothos over there.
Yeah.
That I do love plants, although
You're
I'm not the best at watering them.
taking care of them. Yeah, but you do.
But I do love them
try.
in theory. Yeah.
You take care of the
And my
cats.
favorite season is fall because sweaters and pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah, that's also my favorite season.
I am a basic person.
Basic girl.
I do love my Starbucks, and I love my pop music. And I like to watch my TikTok, which has, TikTok dances.
We're both fans of true crime.
Oh, we love true crime.
We love a true crime. If you have any good true crime shows, podcasts, etc., to
Our
recommend.
favorite true crime creator, we'll
link her.
is Kendall Ray.
Good old Kendall.
True Crime with Kendall Ray. She has
She's awesome.
a podcast as well called True Crime with Kendall Ray. She started on YouTube, and you can still watch her on YouTube. And
You can
she's
also
just
listen,
a
I
very
think, to any of her episodes on podcast platforms.
And she's very thoughtful in the way that she tells the stories of victims and survivors. And it's really always about giving back and remembering those people rather than focusing on their crimes. The crimes, not their crimes. Anyway, she's wonderful. And that's all about me.
Okay. And then I think the last sort of thing that we're going to talk about in this section is, why did we start Access the Magic?
Well, I think if you put together the last 30 minutes of this episode, it makes sense because we are obsessed with Disney. For whatever reason, it's got our heart. It's got our heart because
For all the reasons.
For all the reasons. And we, when we first started getting into Disney, we were doing a lot of watching different Disney creators, trying to get all the tips and tricks from them and just like get in the zone. And we realized
there weren't any disabled creators, really.
Yeah, there are
very few.
There are very few
doing Disney specific content.
Exactly.
Well, and also I'll say that I was trying to look up a bunch of information before the first time we went that I couldn't find answers to because people weren't talking about it online. I since have found some better groups to like look in, and there are a lot of Facebook groups who post content that I think is helpful. But you know, we even just things like pin unboxings and silly little TikTok videos and whatever. I was like, that they're so great and they're so fun, but it would be so nice to see someone doing this from a disability lens. Even things as simple as making sure that all the videos are captioned, making sure there are descriptions on all the photos, you know, and those are things that most creators aren't aware of because they don't live in this community and they don't have the lived experience, and that's totally fine. But that's part of what we wanted to bring to the Disney creator community is talking about these things, having some of this representation so that hopefully more disabled people can come to the parks, but also hopefully so that Disney can learn a little bit more about how they can continue to make their practices more accessible, how they can listen directly to the community for feedback, and just sort of start a conversation. Because I think there are a lot of disabled people who love Disney.
Absolutely.
And we make up such a large portion of the population, so we really deserve to have our opinions heard and respected.
Totally. Yeah. And this is a community that we are fostering and creating here. So we want you to tell us all of your tips and tricks too. You know, we'll tell you about ours, but let's create a little Access the Magic community together where we can all be accessing that magic.
All right. We are also going to be doing a segment every single episode. We're doing podcast episodes every 2 weeks, just so you know.
So it's the question of the
week
episode.
It's still a question of the week.
What's the question of the week?
And the idea, though, is that folks can ask us questions, and we will select a question each week to answer. So please submit your questions. But for now, the question of the week that we have is,
who fell in love with Disney first? And who dragged who into this obsession?
I do think we kind of fell into it together.
Yeah.
I think maybe I was a little bit more intense because I think the accessibility side of it hit me harder as the person experiencing the accessibility. But I also think for you, I mean, you're also disabled, but also as like the person who often is acting as my support worker, observed it in a way. So I really think we fell into it together.
Yeah, I think so. And like, I think I've always been a lover of like a theme park, a roller coaster. So I love that aspect of it. And then, you know, the accessibility aspect of it, and for Disney, I think it's about like the immersion.
Yeah.
When you go into the parks, even when you like get to your resort, you're in a bubble, and it's like the world doesn't exist anymore. And I love that. I
think maybe I was the one who was like sort of like instigated it in a way. Yeah. Like I was the one who first said, let's go to Disney. I think I'm the one who said we should go to Disneyland. I think I'm probably the one who pushed for us to be annual pass holders.
But I think I'm the one who said we need to buy a lot of pins.
Well, yeah, but I think like I sent you pin unboxing videos to be like, look how fun this looks.
And then I said, oh yes, we need to do that. And we have to do it very well.
So it's definitely been like a joint thing.
I think so.
Maybe I've let it a tiny bit, but certainly at this point, it's very much like...
I think we egg each other on in the most wonderful, magical ways.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things about our marriage, I think, is our connection to each other and to Disney, because it's... I say this to people all the time, but Disney for us is a hobby, and it's a way that we get to connect together. And like, for us, because we not only live together and do so much together, but we also work together... It is nice to have a hobby that exists fully outside of the realm of like work and being life. Here at our house, because we do a lot of our work from home. It's like, it's just so nice to have something that feels totally separate from everybody and everything else that is just ours that we get to do. That doesn't mean that we don't invite people to come with us. Like, we always love when friends or family want to come with us. That's so much fun. But it is just nice for it to be our thing. And that's part of why like the podcast is so much fun, because we sit and talk like this and have these conversations about park updates, and oh no, our cat is climbing on something that she shouldn't be climbing on. But
she's actually currently
she's hanging out with
Mickey and Minnie Easter
dressed in Easter bunny costumes.
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
We'll show them to you probably in the next episode. But and And now our other cat is going to inspect what she's doing because he wants to know. He wants to be a part of it. But I think it's just a really beautiful connection that we get to have. And we have these conversations all the time anyway. So we were like, well, why not share them? Why not do this? So it's super fun. All right. Well, that's it for episode 1.
Woo!
Please, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on YouTube, you can check out our other videos. As I mentioned, we will put a link down below. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, I will put a link in the show notes. But as I said, we do vlog all of our Disney trips. We also post other videos just talking about stuff within the parks. So you can check those out. And please follow us on TikTok and Instagram at access.the.magic. I will also have all of that linked.
And Emily, when do we post things?
We post every second Monday.
For the podcast. And
for
then
the podcast.
every
Thursday for vlogs.
You got it. And they will, no, they will not alternate. That doesn't make sense, Nathan. So don't listen to me. However, what you should listen to me about is letting us know what you thought. Give us a little rating. Give us a little review of the podcast. And don't forget to send us your questions. You can send them to us on TikTok or on Instagram. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just leave us a comment down below. Because, as we said, we'd love to feature a question from one of our lovely listeners each episode. And if you are interested in hearing about something specific from us or learning about any of our experiences, let us know about that too, because we'd love to hear what you're interested in.
Yeah, we definitely have some episode ideas, but we would just love to know if there are specific things folks would be interested in having us talk about, if they want our opinions on, whether it's accessibility related or not. Like, we just love talking about anything Disney. So, yeah, let us know. Thank you so much for joining us for the first ever episode, and we will be back in 2 weeks.
See you in the next one.